Hey, what's up? My name is Ren. Welcome back to the studio. I'm so excited because today I'm sharing my sketchbook tour with you guys. If you've been keeping up with any of my videos, you may have seen some of these sketches already, but today I'm going to share a lot of my creative thoughts, my inspirations, and my artistic process behind a lot of the sketches in the sketchbook. And y'all, I live for a good sketchbook tour. I don't know about y'all, but I love sketchbook tours. I just love talking about my sketchbook. Y'all know already. But I just want to preface this by saying my sketchbook is really not a place of finished pieces, of perfection. I would say the theme of the sketchbook has been a lot of fun, a lot of play, a lot of exploration, and really finding these small moments to just stay connected to my art practice through my sketchbook. It's really helped me to stay more consistent in my practice, and yeah, I live for the sketchbook. So get a little snack, get a cup of tea, get a cozy blanket, curl up on your couch, and stay tuned for this video. So I remember where I left off on my last sketchbook tour because my son wanted to use my sketchbook to draw a picture of Super Mario, which I thought was so darn cute, so I left that in here. My next sketch, I do remember this sketch. It's when my son and I, either we were sitting in a library or in a Starbucks, and he was doing his homework, and I think it was the Starbucks actually in Barnes & Noble, and I was just looking at some books and I saw this floral composition. It was simple. I believe they were maybe daisies or carnations, and I took whatever art materials I had, which I believe are Posca markers, because yeah, I can feel the texture of the Posca markers. By the way, you're gonna see me touch and feel the pages of my sketchbook so much because I'm really into texture. I'm really into how my art materials feel on the paper, so it's a real tactile experience when I'm talking about my sketchbook. So that's all about this page. Now on this page, I do remember this is where I started getting into making borders, and also I started getting into putting down washes of paint on paper, sort of like as a preparation for a sketch, not starting with a blank white page, but putting some color down, just to really give myself a little inspiration, before diving into the sketchbook, because trust me, I understand how it feels sometimes when you're staring at a blank page in your sketchbook and you just don't know what to do. So if you go through that, because I know I do all the time, try laying down a wash of color and seeing if that doesn't sort of jog your inspiration to create. That's a side note. Anyway, so I started getting into making these blue borders, and I know I did that with my blue Posca marker. I don't have that right around me now, but I have the beige one, and I laid down a wash of paint, and this sketch is of a hand. And this hand, I remember, actually I drew it over like it was, so the original sketch, right? Sometimes what I'll do when I'm at work, I'll grab like a piece of copy paper, and if I'm inspired to create, I'll just sketch something down real quick on copy paper from the copy machine, and then I'll redraw it later. So this is an example of that. This is a hand, and the veins here in the hand were supposed to be like branches, stems, and yeah. Oh, see? So I was inspired to create a border from this page on here, but I thought to do more of like a collage style. And I used that same blue color to create sort of a scalloped edge border and taped that, or I glued it actually into the sketchbook. And to give myself a little bit of collage texture, once again creating a border, a wash of paint, and just loosely sketching. On this page, now if you've been keeping up with my videos, You will recognize a lot of these sketches because I love to talk about my sketchbook. And I believe I did mention this sketch before in another video, in a previous video, where I was talking about the contrast between doing like a really loose background with a really tight and more precise composition. And I love how this page turned out. I love the little sassy look in this girl's eyes. And yeah, I'm really happy with this page as well. Here on this page, I was just focused on color, sort of an explosion of color. Now this is a lot of gouache on this paper, and color, and being very loose with my composition. And I like to be very imperfect and not really be too precious about my sketchbooks. My sketchbooks are really not a place where I create finished work. It's really just a place of exploration and having a lot of fun and staying connected to my art practice, to my art materials. So this is an example of that. Your sketchbook really doesn't have to be finished and polished. It can be actually whatever you want it to be. So, you know, I really encourage sketchbooks to be just fun and playful. On this page, I think I was thinking a lot about scale. On this page, I have a larger vase next to a smaller one. I did these large floral blooms here. Here I remember thinking about having a simple composition with just 3 colors. This is sort of a red orange, a blue, and a green. And I do like how it turned out. It's very simple, but I think the colors complement each other well, and it's just very pretty. Now here's an example of, you know, when you have something in your mind and it just doesn't quite turn out how you envisioned it. So I think was I thinking about a magnolia stem? And I don't know what happened. I sort of just went for it, and it didn't quite turn out how I wanted it to be, how I wanted it to look, but I just put a red border around it. And I just called it a day, actually, with this one. Oh, I love this page. This spread, this is one of my favorite spreads. And I love sketching and drawing mushrooms. I still do. I need to do this again, like sketch and draw mushrooms, because they are just so much fun. Now, I remember using a lot of ballpoint pen on this page in particular, because I can feel where I was doing like a lot of hatching, cross hatching, and really getting into the paper here. But even though, you know, this composition especially this page looks kind of intense, I guess, because of the black background. It's just 3 colors. It's black, red, and blue. But yeah, this was really fun doing all of this line work in these mushroom sketches. Love it. Oh, I love this page also because of this blue beetle. I worked the heck out of this blue beetle. I remember really trying to get the shading right and the coloring right so it can sort of look a little more like luminescent. And yeah, I kind of love how it turned out, actually. And you see here I wrote trying new things, stepping outside of my comfort zone. It's hard because this was something new for me at the time. And it was a lot of fun, and I still really love how this blue beetle came out. I mean, I love the ladybug also, but this beetle, this little guy has my heart here. Now, this is a moth that I never finished. I always said I would go back and finish it, but I haven't, and that's okay. I like, you know, how this half turned out so far. So yeah. Now on this page, my thought process, I remember I was thinking about the contrast between the natural world and the artificial world, which is why I have all these boxes, which is supposed to represent like pixels. And I was thinking a lot about, yeah, just the contrast between those two ideas. And then randomly, I just wanted to draw a reptile eye. I don't know why. So I drew a reptile eye down there. And yeah, that was the inspiration behind this page. On this page here, this little bird, I remember drawing this little guy from a nature journaling book that I have. And he was lots of fun. I think I just worked with pencil, a little bit of colored pencil, and some blue, probably a blue Tombow marker. Now, on this page, so one of my sayings, something I always say is, if you don't know what to draw, draw leaves. If you don't know what to paint, paint leaves, because leaves to me are such a simple shape that you can paint and draw and work with over and over again. To me, they're lots of fun. I love to look at them. So yeah, that's what this page is all about. Now here, I wanted to do a landscape, but sort of in like an untraditional way. I did an underpainting of orange and yeah, I was just trying something new. So these in the background, the black areas are supposed to represent mountains, and these purple areas as well, and some rocks, lots of trees, water. But yeah, I kind of like this. Also, it's a little different, but I liked that I tried something new. Now, this is another spread that I love. I love the colors on the spread. I love these cherries. I love the bright yellow background. I love the pinks and the reds. And yeah, I really love this page. Something about it. I think it's the colors just grab me. And here, this is another page that I recreated because at work I had an idea of this vase, and I took some copy paper, sketched this little vase out, and I came home that day from work and sketched it again in my sketchbook. And I quite enjoy this composition also. Yeah, I just love the colors. This whole spread, just the colors just really grab me. On this page, I wanted to combine a lot of poetry and words and, sort of in my feels on that day, and my feelings and my emotions. And I think that's okay, to put all the things in your sketchbook, the more personal things, the things that you love, different art forms that speak to you. And on top of visual art, I also love poetry. I love words. I love writing. So yeah, I just wanted to combine that on this spread. I know I used some oil pastels here with some butterflies and moths. And yeah, this was lots of fun also. So on this page, I could not decide. I just could not decide on the background color that I wanted to use on this spread. So this is strictly oil pastels here. And I love how the florals came out. Like this composition of florals with the vase, I do love, but I just could not decide what color to use on the background. I don't know what color I started with. Maybe I started with the blue, and then I was like, maybe I won't do blue. Then I did red, and then I went back and said, what if I put blue on top of red? Then I was like, maybe I could use some green. And maybe one day I'll redo this. And I think I would probably go with the red background. I don't know, but I do like how this came out. It's very colorful and pretty. Me trying out different backgrounds, different colors. This was a lot of fun also. A lot of fun. On this page, this is the time when I was challenging myself to do these compositions where I was just not picking up my pen or marker off of the page, off of the paper, and doing these faces and just seeing what expressions would come out when I challenged myself to do that. And I love that. That was a lot of fun. I think I'm gonna try this again in another sketchbook. I just love the simplicity of it. I always love the expressions that emerge whenever I do this. So yeah, lots of fun. On this page here, just real simple. I think I was just drawing whatever came to mind. I don't even think I had any real thought process or inspiration behind this page, but sometimes that happens. You just want to sit down, you want to get your art materials, and you just want to draw, you just want to sketch. And on this page, I just sketched and drew just whatever came to mind. So this is another favorite spread of mine. I just love color. If you haven't noticed by now, I love color. Color to me is just so inspiring, and it just it really gets me going. A lot of the times I was gonna say, if I'm not particularly feeling inspired that day, I'll just try to use a lot of color in my sketchbook to really just awaken my senses and just really get me into my practice, because color can be just so inspiring. So anyway, so in this composition here, this is just a girl looking at some books, and I just put the books in all these different colors. And on this page, this was a time where I was inspired by a lot of home decor items, and this page is sort of like all of my favorite things, kind of. Yeah, like I have a paint palette here. This is a lamp that I saw online. These two are actually lamps that I saw online. So I was just sketching those out with another bookshelf here, and some gloves, and some like a teacup, and some framed art. And yeah, I love this spread also. I'm laughing because I remember this page. I was painting something else, and I decided to sort of glue all of the paint all over this page, like leftover paint that I had from another project that I was doing. So I was just glooping paint down on the page and having fun. Use some of the pink shade to make this background, and then drew this tree on top. And yeah. So here on this page, I don't even know, should I share this? I mean, this part is not what I don't want to share. This is actually an iris sketch that I did, and I love it actually a whole lot. But on this page, so I had a dream, and I wrote about it here. I wrote, last night I dreamt that I was making art. I was drawing a large vessel with leaves and soil inside, and what was growing from that vessel was a girl. I wonder if she is me. So I just sketched this out real quick. This is exactly what I was dreaming about. And y'all know, sometimes dreams are just weird. You don't know what they mean. You don't know why you're dreaming them. So a lot of the times when I wake up, because I always have a sketchbook or paper or a journal at my bedside, sometimes I'll wake up. When you wake up, like in those first few moments of waking up, sometimes you could really remember your dream. And I don't know about you, maybe I'm the only one that does silly stuff like this, but sometimes I like to write them down, because then you'll forget them. And you'll be like, I know I had a dream about something, and what was it again? Or you'll remember bits of it. And I really wanted to get this dream down on paper. And yeah, this is what I was dreaming about, and I just decided to put it in my sketchbook and to sketch out exactly what I was dreaming about. And it didn't make any sense, but you know what? It was fun. It was fun. These florals are really pretty. I love them. I may have done this in an ASMR video, I'm not sure, but these were just some floral sketches. I love how they came out. So pretty. Here, once again, I was just making random marks, having fun with color, trying to stay connected to my sketchbook practice. Not much explanation here, but that. And yeah. Oh, these florals, I definitely did this in a video. A lot of the times with sketching, because of the fine detail and the movement of the hands and really getting into like the shading, if you're doing like cross hatching, or I think sketching in general, it just really keeps your hands like very busy. So I wrote here, busy hands, empty mind, because when you enter into that flow state, when you're keeping your hands really busy, like with sketching and really getting into the details and the shading, I think it's just one of the best ways to enter into a flow state, and it's just one of the easiest ways. Well, it's not always easy. Oh, I got some pencil on my hand. Anyway, it's not always so easy, but I think if you really focus and you're getting into your flow state, it's just one of the best ways, I think, to quiet your mind. You know, because life right now is just really jam-packed. There's a lot of things going on, and I think art is just one of the best ways to escape from, you know, all of the day-to-day, all of the hustle and bustle, all the things that are going on. You just get so deep into the practice, into your flow state. And yeah, so I wrote, whenever my hands are busy and I enter fully into the flow state, my mind is quieted. So yeah, this was a really fun spread to make. I love the bright pink background. Oh, this is another spread that I really, really love. And I think it's because that's when I was getting into this like a golden color that I've talked about this color before, because I really have fallen in love with this color. It's a Tombow brush pen. I think it's a golden color. And I just love how this looks with the blue. And just, this is when I also got into doing like these drawing these notebooks within a notebook, and having these areas of like where I use a lot of words and more art journaling in my sketchbook has been so much fun. So much fun. I really love this spread as well. I mean, I say I love a lot of my sketchbook spreads, and I really do, but there are ones that really stand out to me, like in my mind, and this is one of them. On this page, you see once again, and you're going to see this repeated from time to time, these little notebooks within a notebook, and I'm just writing whatever's on my mind that day. I had so much fun doing these little notepad sketches. And here are just some simple florals. I may have just used, you know, maybe watercolor and gouache and marker. Yeah. Now this page, this was also a lot of fun to do. I really love this page also. Yeah, I wrote making feels magical because I was just thinking about how beautiful and magical it feels to make art. It's really just my sacred space. I love it so much. So I was just drawing a watercolor sketch of this girl meditating. And here's a notebook, kind of the things that she's thinking about. And it says making feels magical with the moon and the stars. And yeah, this was really fun. I don't know if you can tell, you probably can't on camera, but I was also using some paints that I hadn't used. I hadn't used these paints in a little bit. So this is like some gold watercolor that I was using here. So yeah, this was also a lot of fun. So here on this page, right? This is funny because I'm doing this orange or peach or whatever it is, right? So, and I'm doing it and I'm almost done and I'm like, wait, didn't I do this sketch before? And even over here, I wrote, sometimes the lessons are complete, sometimes they repeat, like this. I did this before. So then I'm like, nah, I gotta look for, where is this sketch? So I'm going back in my sketchbook And I'm like, here it is right here. I did this sketch so long ago. And I'm like, why is it that I'm doing this again? Why is it that the same orange or peach, and you see I wrote here, I wrote orange or peach. Same thing. And I thought it was so funny that I just recreated the same sketch. This time though, I did it in some marker and some, different types of marker. I did this Posca in the background here and maybe some Tombow markers also, but it was just so funny to me that I just revisited this sketch for no apparent reason, just because, I don't know, my mind wanted to, I guess. So here I definitely remember doing this on a video where I turned old sketches into new art, and I recreated this. Actually, if you want to check that video out, I'm going to link it for you. Sometimes I like to go back in my sketchbook and recreate, like make new art from old art, like using my own sketches as inspiration for new artwork. So I love these stripes and this floral composition. I loved it so much that I recreated it, and the actual little recreation is hanging up close to my kitchen, so I do love this one. Here I was just messing around with colored pencils and doing some florals, and yeah, just having fun with color and combining colored pencil, and I think this was some black marker. So yeah, I think I drew these lines because I was going to go back and write something here, but I never did. Another floral sketch, I do believe I have an ASMR video on this sketch as well. I love it, so pretty. Love the green background. I combined just regular pencil with a little bit of red colored pencil, and this is so pretty. Right here you see another notebook. You're gonna see this over and over again. I don't think I can get away from this. Just little areas where I'm just journaling in my sketchbook. No rhyme or reason on this page, just doing some florals and having fun. So on this page, oh, this is when I started getting into loads of texture in my sketchbook. Just combining my materials, combining my paints, and just seeing how much paint the paper could hold, and having fun, lots of fun with abstraction and with texture. And you'll often see, listen, you're gonna see me rubbing these pages a lot because I just love the textures on these pages, because I wish you could feel it like through the screen, because it just, I love the different textures of all the art materials. And these next few pages were a lot of fun getting into my art materials and just really creating a space that I love. And I do have a video on that as well, just creating a sketchbook that you really love to come back to over and over again. And it doesn't have to be anything like pressured. It could be real simple, but just making it a space that you love to return to over and over again. You know, your art practice should feel light. It should feel like a place you want to be. So yeah. Oh, so I have some of these pages clipped together because on these pages in here, I was exploring a lot of the imperfection of the female body. And I was going to show it to you guys, but I decided against it because I don't want to. It's a lot of, you know, nudity. It is the female body. And I just decided to keep these under wraps. And maybe I can show you some behind the scenes somehow of these sketchbook pages, because I did enjoy these sketches a lot. Here, more textures, more colors, more abstraction. Love it. And I really, you know, at the time I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this bright green color, and I ended up loving it. I love it combined with like this deeper burgundy color. So pretty, so pretty. More texture. Love it. So on these pages, these were more recent, and I started getting into a lot of monochromatic sketching, just using one color, one tool, and focusing more of the flow of composition and not putting too much pressure on my practice. I do love to create with simple tools, simple materials, you know, simplifying the process of making art. I think just removing as many barriers as I can between me and my art practice, so I can just not complicate things too much. You know what I'm saying? Just keep it real simple, keep it real light and fun. So that's what these next few pages are about, and I had so much fun. These paints, I talked about them before. This is my De La Rowney ink. So this is funny. I saw this tree that this tree, to me, it looked just like a large broccoli. So I sketched this out. Yeah, it looks like a big piece of broccoli, doesn't it? I think so. So I sketched it out here in my sketchbook right here, just making random marks with green. Lots of fun. I love drawing trees also. Anything nature-based, really. I love that. More monochromatic sketches. Oh, this is funny because I was doing these abstract compositions, and I think I closed my page too early, and these pages, you probably can't tell on camera, but they got stuck together. So I just covered the areas up where the paper peeled off with more paint, and I love how this pink and green go well together. So yeah. Love this page. This was a day that I took my sketchbook out and I was sketching and painting outside, and it was so fun, so relaxing and peaceful. I'm gonna link that video for you also. I had a lot of fun with this page, just sketching whatever I saw right in front of me, just in the moment, in the zone, in the flow. It was just straight up fun, really. More things that I was seeing outside that day. This is supposed to be just a representation of like rocks. This was the sky. This was like the sandy area at the lake. These were some vultures that were sitting on the fence. Just real quick sketches of whatever I saw. Oh, I love this page. I love the jewel tones of this page. So pretty. I just love this like deep burgundy and deep purple and like a deep emerald green. So pretty. So pretty. More pages of like abstraction. I was using marker. These are some oil pastels on top. On this page, I actually had found a feather on that day when I was outside with my sketchbook, and I took like a part of the feather and I was just making these dots with paint with the feather. That was a lot of fun also. So this page I did talk about in another video. I'm gonna link that video for you as well. It was a lot of fun because I recently got in some new art supplies. I got some of these inks. I'm gonna just link that video for you so you can check out when I was talking about these new art supplies, and I was just practicing using these inks that I put in these Pentel water brush pens, and I did these iris sketches, and yeah, I actually love them. They were so much fun. This is another page where I was just I was trying out my art supplies in that video also. This is some charcoal. This is another, I'll show you. This is actually another little sketchbook. This is more of like a journal actually. And this pen here is really a calligraphy pen. And I was just practicing some of my marks on this page with this pen, and I love this. I've been using this quite a bit actually. I love this more than I thought I would. This is really fun to work with. I'm gonna link that video for you so you can check out all the supplies, the new art supplies that I got in lately, and just what I've been loving about them. On this page, I don't know, sometimes I just have random thoughts of either shapes or colors. I started thinking about the color red on this day. I don't know why. I don't know why I was thinking about the color red, but I just kept thinking about the color red, and I just grabbed like a few different reds and different materials, and I sketched a little notebook here, and I wrote thinking about the color red for some reason. So yeah, this is my red page, I guess. And even here, I don't know, it looks like I kept thinking about red, and I put more down on this paper, and I think that's why I wrote a red moon here, because it kind of looks like a red moon, to me at least. Yeah, and just this page is more color, more abstraction. Yeah, lots of fun. I love these kinds of pages. So here, more leaves, like layering different shapes of leaves. A lot of fun. I always love drawing leaves, like I said, drawing different shapes, smaller ones, larger ones. Yeah, lots of different shapes, different shades of green. Here you see again, more color. Color. This book was all about color, and then a lot about texture. So here, just applying more color onto the page and having fun with abstraction. Yeah, love it. This page, like I said, I've been working a lot with these materials here. This is what is this called? Is this like the Bimoji brush pen, I believe? And I did this composition, this flower composition with this pen. And I think I used a little bit of it here in this tree, this kind of zoomed in close-up of a tree. I may have used this and maybe like this Papermate flare pen. All these are black and gray. So I think I used, I'm going to talk to you about this art journal probably in another video. But in this composition, I believe I used all of these materials here. My King Art brush pen in gray, my Bimoji calligraphy pen. This is a Staedtler fine liner, and a Papermate flare pen in black. On this page, I wanted to recreate this a rose sketch in a different kind of material, sort of like in a wetter material. So this is my ink. I think it's my India ink and sepia, probably. That's in this pen that I use with, I recreated the same floral composition here, but with different materials. And sometimes I like to recreate the same composition with different materials just to see how it turns out and what the differences are, and just to practice over and over again. Here, this is so pretty. I love this tree. I love this spread is also, even though it's it's actually the last spread in the book. Wow. We've come to the end, but I really enjoyed this spread also. I think the color, when it dries, it gives like these pretty brown shades, and also these like pretty pink shades, which are, oh yeah. Now that I'm really giving it a good look, I really do love this page as well. So yeah, this is the end. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. This is the end, and I wrote thank you sketchbook on this page. So this is the end of my sketchbook tour. I can't believe it. This sketchbook has been so much fun. It's taught me so much in my art practice. It's just been such a fun space of like exploration, trying new things, having fun, staying connected to my art practice. So yeah, we've come to the end, guys, so I'll catch you in the next video.